By this often intimidating topic. As you start this course, I just want to draw your attention to a resource that I've put together for you. It's a list of all of the free SEO tools that you're going to learn how to use in this course. To access it, you can just click up to the resources section here and click on the link. This list, I actually put it together based on a suggestion from a student, and I include in which lecture each of these tools appear. I've also broken it down into different sections. So these are all the tools for keyword research that you're going to learn how to use. Also to optimize your content for SEO. All of the link building tools that you're going to learn how to use. And then finally, the tools for SEO analysis. If you have a website, you can go ahead and use these right now to find out your SEO score. And you can have a look at lecture 33 if you want to get specific directions on those. So a lot of students find this helpful. You can see everybody logged in here using it now. I keep this up to date. If I change any tools in the lectures or find better tools, I always update them here. So I suggest that you bookmark this page and also keep it open as you go through the course, because I have links to all of the tools mentioned, so it'll just help you get there faster. So hope you enjoy this list and find it useful. There's one important SEO concept that I see a lot of students making mistakes on, so I just wanted to make this lecture to clarify it for you in case you're not aware of it. And it's really the difference between websites and web pages and the difference for SEO. See, a lot of students will say, I would just want to get my site to #1 in Google, but actually Google in the search results doesn't list the most relevant websites. It actually lists the most relevant web pages. For example, if I search for digital cameras in Google, the first search result that comes up is the digital cameras page on the Best Buy website. The reason Google displays this is obviously it helps me get the information that I want faster. And so the point that I'm making is that when we learn about keyword research, content optimization, and building authority and links around our content, you need to think about it on an individual page basis. The 3 steps you'll have to do for each page you want to rank for. You won't want to rank for every single page on your website, your contact us page, your about us page. You wouldn't expect to rank for those. But for the pages you're trying to rank for, you really need to engage all of these 3 steps on an individual page basis. So you're very welcome to this section of the course. In this lecture, what I want to do is firstly talk about why you won't be successful in SEO unless you do keyword research. And then secondly, I want to give you an overview of a 3-step process to perform keyword research to enable you to really find low competition and high converting keywords, and that will really set us up for the remaining lectures in this section. So why is keyword research really essential for you to do if you want to be successful at SEO? Well, you've got to be a little bit strategic. Firstly, you want to make sure that you're not creating content and trying to build links around a keyword that nobody is actually searching for. So you'd be wasting your time unless you did some keyword research to confirm that. Secondly, you may be creating content or trying to build links around a keyword that is just too competitive. There could be companies with teams of people trying to get to the top of the search results for that. So again, you've got to be kind of strategic about it. You've got to put some time into identifying where there's opportunities and then go after those opportunities. So now I want to give you an overview of the 3 steps to find low competition, high converting keywords. And this is really what we're going to be covering in the remainder of this section. So firstly, we want to brainstorm and build a list of 50 to 70 keyword ideas. And I'm going to show you how to do that in the next lecture using 3 different tools. Secondly, what we want to do is narrow down that list by assessing really is there search volume for these keywords, and we're going to use the Google Keyword Planner tool. And then finally, we want to finalize our keyword selection by assessing that competition. Are we going to be able to compete for these keywords and get to the top of the search results? So that's an overview of the process and what we're going to cover in the rest of this section. So let's get straight into it. So the first step in our keyword research is really to do some keyword brainstorming. And in this lecture, I want to give you a process to do that using 3 different tools. By the end of this lecture, then, you will have an Excel sheet full of about 50 to 75 keywords, which then in the next lecture, we're going to bring into the Google Keyword Planner tool and narrow that list down by really checking the monthly search volumes. But for now, we want to get as many ideas as we can, because if we want to find low competition keywords, we got to find keywords maybe our competition aren't targeting, and so that is the objective of this lecture. So there are many different tools that you could use for keyword brainstorming, but I've selected 3 in particular. Firstly, because they're all free, and secondly, because each tool will help us think in a different way, and that means that we will have the greatest list at the end of this process, the most diverse and broad range of terms that we can. So the first tool we're going to look at using is Wikipedia. You're probably already very familiar with this, but in terms of SEO and keyword brainstorming, the great thing about it is that there's a lot of linking between the pages, and that can help us find closely related terms. Secondly, we're going to look at reddit.com. If you're not familiar with Reddit, it's a website where people post links and have discussions, usually a very passionate group of people, and they have very specific conversations there. So there can be some really high value keywords that we want to look at and pull out of there. So the final tool in our keyword brainstorming session is called ubersuggest.org, and what this tool is going to help us do is really find long tail keywords. What I mean by that is keywords that contain 2 or 3 words. So for example, with this tool you'll pop in, say, drones, and it'll spit out hundreds of suggestions of longer tail keywords like drones cameras, drones that follow you, drones for sale, and often these keywords, the longer tail keywords, are less competitive, and that's why we want to use this tool as well. So those are the 3 tools we're going to be looking at. So let's get straight into it. So firstly, let's head over to wikipedia.org. We're going to try and think laterally here and find synonyms for our keyword example, drones. Okay, remote controlled pilotless aircraft, unmanned aerial vehicle, unmanned combat aerial vehicle, quadcopter, quad rotor helicopter. So these are all, good ones, and as you can see, they all link off to other pages which probably have a rotorcraft, fixed wing aircraft, rotors, tail rotors. There's just this UAVs. There's a whole source of keywords there that seem very interesting. So next we want to go over to reddit.com and try and find some subreddits about drones. So here's something that looks interesting. As you can see there's different subreddits. So DIY drones is one, UAV drones is another, multi-copter drone. Let's just have a look in this one, DIY drones. So what you'll see here is probably a lot of hardcore people talking about drones. Let's see, general consensus. So this looks HK. This is some type of product or product part. Quadcopter part lists. That could be interesting. People talking about the different parts if you wanted to sell on Amazon specific parts. Quad build parts, drone versus RC heli. So there's another keyword as well. Specific questions as well that people are talking about if you're doing blog posts, and if these are popular you can see how many people are talking about them. So really there's a lot of stuff in there, but you can really just explore and see what looks interesting and put them back into your spreadsheet. So the final way we're going to get hundreds of potential keywords is to use this tool called ubersuggest.org. Again, it's free, and all you have to do is type in your keyword right here. So I've already typed in drones, and as you can see they've given me 378 suggestions. This is very similar to when you type into Google. It gives you some suggestions here, but there's only about 10 or so. And so this tool really gives you much more suggested keywords. And so what you can do is you can go down through the list, and so you can add kind of to a clipboard the keywords that you think are relevant and that are good. So for example, drones for sale, drones camera, that's relevant if I'm trying to sell drones. Drones White House, it's more of a news story, and it's not a keyword that somebody would type in who would necessarily want to buy a drone. It's more something just news related. So let's keep moving down. You can see they have the keyword plus another word starting with the letter A here. Drone aerial photography, that's quite interesting. Drone attacks, okay. Drones Amazon, yes, those are interesting. Drones Best Buy. Drone battery life, that's quite interesting. That could be an article of someone looking to buy a drone, etc. So you click the ones that you like, and then you can just copy and paste these back into your Excel. So just to recap on this lecture, the purpose of it was to really build a list of potential keywords. The reason that we want to do it a bit of a research and think outside the box, think laterally, going deep and finding longer tail keywords, is because the most obvious keywords are going to be extremely competitive. It's unlikely that you're going to get to the top of the search results and get the traffic for those keywords. So that's why you have to do a little bit of digging and find keywords that maybe your competitors have overlooked. So now that you put the keywords that you found from these three resources into an Excel, what we're going to do in the next lecture is really make a data-driven decision and find out which of those keywords actually gets the most searches, and then we can start to narrow down the list. So now that we have a list of keyword ideas, what we want to do next, and the second part of our keyword research process, is really to narrow down that list by looking at the data in the Google Keyword Planner tool. We really want to make a data-driven decision about what keywords we're going after and where we're going to invest our SEO effort. So I'm going to show you how to find the monthly search volumes for each keyword in the Google Keyword Planner tool, and also how to look for terms that are really going to give high conversion and result in a sale or sign up. We want to try and avoid general keywords because usually they have much lower conversion. So let's get straight into it. So the first step for you, if you haven't already done it, will to be create a Google AdWords account. Google AdWords is the advertising platform of Google. The Keyword Planner tool is a part of that. It's free to use, and all you'll need to do is follow the prompts and set up an account. Sometimes people say that they see them being pushed towards creating an ad. You don't need to do this, but if Google does kind of push you down that path, you can always just come up to Tools, Keyword Planner. You'll be brought back to this page here, and then this is really where we can start our process off. So once we're in the Google Keyword Planner tool, what we want to do is come down to Get Search Volume, Data and Trends. Because we already have a large list of keywords, we can just paste those straight into this section, and we're going to be able to see what the monthly search volume is. So then here you can do some targeting, and you can limit the search volume that you want to see for a particular country. Because I think a lot of the market, say if I was selling drones, would be from the US, I'm just going to keep that as a US targeting. Let's search now and see what comes up. So this is fantastic now. Google is actually showing me how many searches on average in Google there are for these exact keywords. So I can see for drone that on average per month in the United States there's over 200,000 searches for this term, which is really fantastic for us to see. So how do we start to narrow down this list? Well, the first thing is to look at the keyword itself. If you were to type yourself drone into the Google search box, do you think you'd be ready to buy a drone? Do you think you'd be know much about drones? Probably not. You probably, if you were typing that into Google, you'd be maybe interested in drones, want to find out what they are, the different types. You would be much higher up the buying funnel. You'd be maybe getting interested. Something like quadcopter, if a person types that into Google, clearly they know maybe the different types of drones, and they're looking to find more information on a specific type of drone. If you type in drones for sale, obviously you're looking to maybe buy a drone, so that's a great keyword to try and rank for, because it's going to lead to a sale. Similarly, UAV, as we saw, this is maybe a different category of drones, so obviously the person knows a little bit more about drones. Parrot AOR drone, someone obviously knows, if they're typing this into Google, maybe this is the best type of drone, and they're very interested in maybe buying this drone or getting more information about it. So that's the first thing. We want to look at the keyword itself and really the intention behind somebody if they type that into Google, and we want to pick the keywords that will maybe result in much higher conversions, so more specific terms the better. Second thing we want to look at is the average monthly search volumes. Obviously these less specific terms draw a higher amount of average searches per month, but also that average number of searches then draws more competitors, other people trying to SEO rank their sites for those terms. So it's really better to try and get lower monthly searches, maybe above 2,000 as a minimum, and if we can couple that with a more specific term, that's going to lead to less competition and higher converting keywords. So let's start actually building a new list now, and what we can do is just organize this list in terms of starting with the top monthly searches. I'm going to skip over these first two because I think they're not specific enough, and that high volume is going to draw a lot of competition from SEO. So what we can do is click this little button. It's going to build up a new list here, and this is kind of the stuff that we want to be going for. So more specific, still very good search volume, might still be a little bit too competitive for us, but let's keep moving down. The UAS, I think this is a particular added in, yeah. Drone camera, I think that's Nixie. I looked this up. This is a specific type of drone, so if you could build a website maybe around that to get ranked for that. Our drones, let's have a look. Best drones, so you can see still very good search volume for these. Here we go, drones that follow you. This is very specific, and I mean that could be a great video, great blog post, and a link to even Amazon to sell the best drones that follow you. Drone reviews, that could be something else you could rank for as well. Copter, so let's have a look at this. This is obviously another brand name. Not as much search volume for this, maybe not as competitive as the AOR Parrot one that we saw, etc. So drone GoPro, there's another good one. So essentially that's what you're going to want to do. Another consideration that you can have is how many people are advertising for these keywords. So this competition here, this list, this isn't the competition of how hard it is to rank for these keywords in the search engines. This is how many people are actually bidding on this keyword in terms of advertising. It'll give you a sense maybe of how valuable the term is. And so what you can do next is, after you've looked at the keywords themselves and the average monthly searches, you can start to look at the suggested bid. So you can see here that although there's a very low number of searches, only 90 searches per month on average in the US, the amount of people bidding for this keyword is quite high, and they're bidding up to $12 per click for that one keyword, which probably makes sense over the long run, because drone insurance cost, someone types that into Google, they're looking to insure their drone, which means they probably, if they have a drone, they've already spent a couple of thousand on it, which makes sense for them to buy insurance on. So this is something, if you're in that industry and you wanted to rank for that term, you could probably, that's a very high, that's a very valuable term. If someone is spending $12 for 12 euros for one click, if you were to rank for that term, you'd have a lot of highly valuable traffic. Some other stuff here, so let's add that one into our list as well. Drone insurance coverage. So there's another keyword that's related to that. Drone UAV insurance, similar term as well, actually has higher searches per month and a much lower cost. So if I were these guys, I'd be paying for this term because I get more searches for less money. UAV insurance as well. There we go, even higher. Let's keep moving down. UAV insurance cost. Let's see. Yes, drone insurance. UAV training. This is pretty interesting one. So if you did a training course, you know that if you were to build traffic for that, it'd be quite valuable. So that's just another way to look at this information from a conversion point of view, and also see how valuable that traffic might be. And then what you can do is take that list and paste it back into maybe your second sheet on this keyword research workbook, and now you've got a narrowed down list of terms that you think have good search volume, but also could result in high conversions, and that's really what you want. So if you've tried to access the Google Keyword Planner tool after the last lecture and you're seeing that you are being brought through these steps here, that's okay. That's actually part of the new sign-up process. You used to be able to skip through these steps in the past and access the tool straight away, but it seems for a lot of countries now, Google is forcing people through these steps. In almost every country, so I've had a number of students say this as well. What I want to really show you in this lecture is how to go through these steps, but essentially you won't be spending any money on a campaign, and you're going to essentially cancel the campaign as soon as it's set up. You will need to put in some credit or debit card details, but I want to show you now how you can really set it up so you're not going to spend any money. So you have to create a bit of an ad first, then you get through to the second screen, and it'll say your budget here will be 10 euros per day or something equivalent in your country, and really you want to change this to be as low as possible. So you can put it as your budget being, let's actually change that to say 1 cent a day. And we also then want to go down here and says automatically set my bids to get the most clicks within my budget. So now you want to say I want to set my bids myself, and you want to change this to as low as possible. Seems like 10 cent is the lowest amount possible. So what you've done is you've changed your budget to 10 cent, which is going to give you 0 clicks. Obviously you're not going to win any bids with a 10 cent bid, which is perfect. So I don't want any clicks and no impressions. That mean I'm going to spend no money, and my bid is 10 cent as well. So it's really save and continue from there. Now you will need in this billing part to put in your credit card details, but as we said, we set it up so low that it is going to, it's not going to, there's going to be no bids. And so what we want to just do is agree it there. So once you're in here, then you can highlight the campaign here. This is the one we just set up, and you can go remove. So now you have no campaigns, but you can come in and access the tool. So you just set it up, put the bids very low, and then cancel it, and then you have full access to the tool. So welcome to the final step in our keyword research process. By now you have a short list of keywords which you know have good monthly search volume, and you also know they're specific and so are likely to convert well. Now the final thing that we need to do is really assess the competition for those keywords. Can we realistically get to the top of the search results, or is the keyword too competitive? And we really do want to get to the top of the search results because that's where everybody on Google clicks. They don't look to the second page, they don't look to the third page. So this is a very important part of keyword research, and I'm going to show you a process to do this using another free tool. So let's now return to our keyword research list, and really what we want to see is take these one by one and start putting them into Google, because we really want to see what these top 10 search results are like. And as I said, we want to assess, really, can we beat these guys? The way that we're going to do that is we're going to use a tool called the Mozbar Chrome extension. You can just type that into Google and it'll pop right up there, and you can add it to Chrome. I've already got it installed here, and so I just click this little button. And now it should pop up with this little toolbar underneath that gives us some information that can help us decide, is this keyword too competitive or can we rank for it? So to assess if we can really get to the top of the search results, the main metric